Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Angry Cast and Satisfactory, the show where we do everything absolutely wrong, and yet we still manage to get through shit without even trying. Yeah. So, right, here we go. You can see a bunch of yellow lights on all of the machinery over here. That's because there is no more room in the inn, at least for these storage containers, for well, yeah, for the aluminum casing, because it's just having to be built. You'll start to see these start to slowly go green after a while, because that means they're actually working, or they can work. I learned a valuable lesson, like Kevin Arnold would say, or adult Kevin Arnold, played by the Wet Bandit of Daniel Stern. That's going way back into the annals of TV history for y'all. There, you probably don't even remember the Wonder Years the first time around. Not the new one, but the old one. Before Kevin Arnold became a bit of a bastard. I mean, allegedly. But we have our battery. We're going to go through a few things here, show you some stuff, and then we'll get to some other things. We're definitely going to be turning in at least one, if not two, of the milestones for Tier 7. The last two, and they'll leave us just with 8. But we'll see how that goes. But for right now, as you can see, I've got battery platform going on here, and thanks to Total Eclipse for this design on an actual let's get up here so we can see what we're going and concentrate on flying and not dying. The setup for a battery factory, which you can see we got about 6 blenders there at the front end making the batteries. That's being supplied with some aluminum solution and I think some sulfuric acid or water, forget which. Let's look at it. Look at it. I think, yes, sulfuric acid. Yeah, being supplied with sulfuric acid, alumina solution, some casings that I've made from over the other place to my left, and that gives you the batteries and an offshoot of water. It's water. So I stole from this line over here, since the casings were pretty much full. I stole a line of the casings off of here, separated it, and sent it over to here for this particular item. Actually, no, maybe I built them. No, I think I built them. But we've got the blenders down here. Let's just take a real quick walk through here. So these 6 blenders are taking in all of the sulfuric acid, the alumina, and the aluminum casing. Why that still being plagued by some logistics, and I think it's because we've got I think I know why. So there's no sulfuric acid in the pipe. Why is there no sulfuric acid in the pipe? Well, let's follow that pipe back to where it comes from, and that comes from over here, as you can see. Whoa! And there's not a lot in there, and it flies over here and it flies over here. I have it being separated into 2 locations where it's feeding in. So one's coming out, one's going in. So the coming out part comes from these refineries. Is that what that is? Is that a refinery? Yeah, these 6 refineries, or I'm sorry, 8. So yeah, 6 refineries are producing sulfuric acid by pulling in sulfur and water, and the water is being supplied initially by a water pipe, a water extractor. Well, shit. Water extractor over there. But the byproduct of all of the blenders is water, so we feed that back into itself, and then that's why we only need to have one. We only have one water extractor and not many like we do on the coal plants. So that feeds these six refineries, which was producing our sulfuric acid from the sulfur that we mined from over there, somewhere yonder, over here, and we're trucking it back all the way over to here. That takes care of that part. Okay, we're working our way backwards. This is the part 2. Now, where are we getting the alumina solution from? Well, we are getting the alumina solution from these. Hello. We're getting the alumina solution from, where is it going to? It's dark and I can't see a damn thing. Okay, it's being fed in. Let's see where. Let's go back around here. The alumina solution is coming through from these refineries. these refineries are making alumina solution and byproduct of being of silica. That's taking the bauxite and water. Now again, we're getting water from the extractor to start off with, but then we're backfilling all of the water in from the byproduct of the blender. It's feeding water back to the system, so we're getting water that way. So these 4 refineries are making alumina solution and a byproduct of silica, and that silica then gets taken over and mixed with let's see here. This silica is being fed over into our other foundries, making aluminum ingots with the aluminum scrap. And the aluminum scrap is a byproduct of the alumina solution. Or no, wait. Crap. I don't know what I'm doing. The aluminum scrap is a byproduct of this refinery that is taking the alumina solution and coal that we trucked in from. Coal is being trucked in from over there, bauxite being trucked in from over there, and the silica quartz is being trucked in from over there. All that's making our alumina solution that's creating 6 scrap, and then by also pushing out water. So we're getting water from all over the damn place, which is great. So that produces all of the aluminum scrap that gets sent over to these 3 refineries, or foundries, which is making our aluminum ingots, which is making the casings that goes into the blenders. So there you can see all the way back to the beginning of everything. So the first thing that happens is that we make silica, and then we also make alumina solution, and then we make our scrap, and then we make our casings from the ingots, and then the other set of information that's coming through, or information, the products are the sulfur and sulfuric acid, which are then being pushed through. So we have alumina solution going in, we have sulfuric acid going in, and we have the casings going in, and those 3 items are making the batteries. Now, why do we have this deficiency in sulfuric acid? I believe that's so what is pushing out the sulfuric acid? It's being pushed out of here, right? These ones. Okay? The sulfuric acid isn't that bad right here. But the water, what is the byproduct here? It's just pushing out sulfuric acid. So sulfuric acid is being pushed out. But the problem is that I think we're idle. And the reason why is because we either are not getting enough water in through our intake, through over here. So we're only getting a little bit of water. We're not getting a lot of water, and we're not getting, we're having some backups in some places. And why are we having all of this, the sulfur is not causing the problem. I think it's just a water problem. And I haven't figured out some of this stuff yet. We get all the water in, so it starts to work. But the moment we either run out of water or whatever's coming out gets occluded, for instance, we're pushing out sulfuric acid. Right now we have a water problem. We might have we have a sulfuric acid production problem because we have a water intake problem. If the sulfuric acid was full and couldn't do anything else, meaning we ran out of a problem here and this was all completely full of sulfuric acid, then it would stop making the sulfuric acid. So something is causing the water to stop being made, and I think it's possibly our quartz production line, because our quartz production line again is producing water. The aluminum scrap line is producing a byproduct of water. Right now it's not doing anything. Why is that? Well, that is because the output of that is going over here into this line with our silica, and it's stuck. There's nothing coming out. Why is that? Because we can't make fast enough. We can't make these damn casings fast enough. The casings are taking too damn long. There's 200 in the output. 200 in the output. Because they're not flowing out, which means they're not going into this line, because we're probably, it all feeds into each other. It's one big cyclical mess. If there's not enough if there's not enough sulfuric acid going into the blender, that means it's not making anything and it's not using up the aluminum casing. So the aluminum casings back up. That causes the aluminum ingots to back up. The aluminum ingots backs up. That causes everything else. It's a systemic problem all the way back, and that's been some of our issues. And that's where you get into the whole underclocking and overclocking of things. And I don't think I've got that correct yet. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get over to, I mean, you can see what we're doing. You can see how we've done it. It's up to me to figure that shit out. Alright, I've got to go run this shit over to somewhere else, and we'll see you there. Okay, a while ago I had said, I'm going to redo all this and make it all pretty and do these things and make them all look great, and I'll get rid of all the spaghetti, and guess what? The spaghetti is everywhere. It's like a bad Italian movie. It's like a bad Western. The spaghetti is everywhere, and this is for a reason. So we've got I think we got manufacturers everywhere. Two manufacturers and an assembler here handling some products. We're making high-speed connectors here. We're making computers over here using the alternate recipe, and we're making this assembler over here is making some automatic wiring. That is directly going into the space elevator stuff for the assembly. The assembly director system. I need 4,000 of these, so I need a shit ton of this stuff, and it's just ridiculously a mess. And we constantly run out of things like cabling, which I'll have to figure out in a bit. But let's get up to where the bigger mess is at. Meanwhile, I've got all kinds of lines running everywhere, bringing Caterium down to those two lines, and circuit boards over, and constantly running out of stuff here, which is the AI limiters and the high-speed connectors and computers and plastic to make supercomputers, because I need the supercomputers, again, for the space elevator as well. We've got to fill these 4 containers for what our needs are, and we're nowhere near, because I keep running out of things, and I have to keep borrowing from Peter to pay Paul as far as taking things over from one place to another. So that's a problem. That's a problem. Now, this spaghetti mess is a problem as well, but it's serving a purpose. So we are making heavy modular frames with this manufacturer. We're going to need a ton of those, so I constantly have to keep filling that thing in. I've got the iron pipe, or the pipes I'm manually bringing over and dropping in. Screws I'm bringing over from the screw production facility, and I'm bringing over the encased industrial beams over manually, as well as the modular frames, which are being built up over the ridge. These lines, I'm also making AI limiters over here with copper sheets and quick wire. And I've got the copper sheets I'm bringing over manually, and I'm feeding in from all my Caterium lines, all that stuff. Over here, though, as you can see, we got rid of all of the fart rocks, and now I've got 2 more production lines going on. This one is making electromagnetic control rods. We're going to need a shit ton of them for everything we're doing. Specifically, things we're making for the space elevator, but also for one of these tier levels, tier level 7 of particle enrichments, which will unlock uranium. But for right now, we've got these fused modular frames, the supercomputer, and 1,000 pipes in order to unlock turbo motors Minor Mark III, and the thermal propulsion rocket also needed for the space elevator. I'm going to start pulling this stuff in and getting it so that we can send that off, because I'm going to go do some other stuff later, and I don't want to have to take time to clear out my inventory to do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That gets me those. Let's shove those in. Ba-ba-doo. Let's go get our supercomputers that we need. We need 100 of those? I can spare 100, because we're not getting anywhere fast on this shit as it is. Bup, bup, 100 of them. And then we have to go get the fused modular frames as our next stop. Woohoo! And again, messes everywhere. Messes everywhere. Alright, we've got that. Now we gotta get the fused modular frames, which we will go get in a second. let's go drop this stuff off in our other production lines, which are currently still making adaptive control units and modular. The adaptive control units and modular, and we are nowhere near getting this done either, because we keep running out of things, even though we're trying. And our modular engines, which are going somewhat better. We're almost done with the modular engines. For certain items, we still probably need to make more. But we got these two lines working here. This is taking out of the automatic wiring that I constantly have to run out of and go get. Heavy modular frames, computers, and we need circuit boards, which we're now in a deficit because we keep borrowing from everything else to make them adaptive control units. And then the modular frames are doing motor, rubber, and smart plating. Now, I am currently making automatic wiring, but it takes forever to make, because you can only really get, at most, from one manufacturer, or I'm sorry, one assembler, 6 1/4. So 6, basically, what, 6 per minute? 6 per minute. And it takes, what, 10? 15 for one? We need 15 for one. So it takes 2 minutes to produce. It's going to take almost 3 minutes to produce enough to do one thing. That's why you have multiple machines going at one time. Well, we don't have that right now. But we are borrowing, because we kept running out of core cabling. I created a set of factories over there and trucking the cabling back here with stators. Making stators with, pipes, and I'm trucking more pipes over here. I'm trucking things everywhere to make all that stuff. My brain is a scary place, and you should really stay away from it. If it's making any sense to you at all, you are a genius, because I certainly am not. That's where that's all going into effect. I'm getting all the little pieces together so that I can just clean everything up and then start the production units that I need. And that'll be for the first 2 items of the Phase 4. High above everything is the ridge above this gassy walkway and the coastline. As you can see, we are right there, and there is over here a nitrogen gas deposit. We're gonna go check that out. Now, we've claimed it all. Now, here's the funny thing about this stuff. The only way this works, oh dear Lord, look at this all. The only way this works out is when you find the nitrogen deposits, there's usually a main place, a main geyser or whatever. It looks like a geyser. Main deposit in the middle, surrounded by nodes. Usually about 6 nodes. And if you can see, I have all nodes are claimed. And right now, I mean, it's impure because there's only one normal, and I don't know how that works, but regardless, you have to build on the main hole. On the main hole, you've got to put in a resource well pressurizer, which takes a 200 cable, or I'm sorry, 200 wire, 50 rubber, 50 encased industrial beams, and 50 motors to build one. But then you also got to, in order for everything to be, I guess, claimed, you have to build an additional 6 well extractors, which are 10 steel beams and 10 plastic apiece, so 60 of each. And once you get that all figured out, you can then hook up your the resource well pressurizer, and that I guess that just pushes, like that just slams into the ground and pushes the gas out of the nodes, and then that gas can be then piped into blenders or other or refineries or whatever, or foundries or whatnot. Anything with a pipe hookup. And we're using 3 of them right now to do a couple of things. I was making packaged nitrogen. We're going to have some whippets. We're going to do some whippets later. I got those all taken up. But I also have a blender set up to do fused modular frames, which take heavy modular frames, aluminum casing, and nitrogen gas. So you push the nitrogen gas out of the resource node into the blender, and then you just have heavy modular frames, which we've been making, and the aluminum casings, which I brought over from the other place, and that's pushing out that. Now we need, what we say, we need 50 of them. We need 50 of them. We've got plenty right now. We need a total, I think, of 800 for what we're doing. As far as the space elevator goes, I could be wrong. I think maybe just one item needs about 800 of them to do all the stuff. But for now, we're going to let this fly and go. The other thing we have going on is we take one, and this is the great thing about the nitrogen, is that you have 6 nodes to pull off of. You can make 6 of these with just their own separate dedicated pipeline. But this other blender is going to be making these cooling system, which we need for both resource tier, or the milestone tiers, as well as items in, I think that it's the propulsion rocket, or the whatever it is, I don't know, magnetic control, who knows, whatever it is. But it takes also a blender and heat sinks, rubber, water, and nitrogen gas. We got the nitrogen gas being piped in. We've got water being piped in from an extractor over there. We've also got rubber being manually dropped into this over here, and we've also got heat sinks that I'm building over where we were at with the platform of all the aluminum stuff that's happening. So that's making those, and we're going to need a bunch of them as well. And right now we've got 245. So now that we've got all these items that we had to go get, we got 50 of the these fuse modular frames. Let's go take it back and turn in that tier. Alrighty, back at the home hub mess of all messes, and we have our fuse modular frames to add to the pile for leading edge production, which is leading edge production tier 7. Let's send it out. Push the button, and it's off. Another 5 minutes. What did we get? Turbo motors, Mark III miners.
Ficsit improved factory buildings, such as the Miner Mark III.
Miner Mark III, yeah.
Project part enables progress to the next phase.
Yep. And our next milestone, which is going to be tier 7 particle enrichment, which we need electromagnetic control rods, we need the cooling systems, we need the fuse modular frames, and we need now a turbo motor, which takes 4 cooling systems, 2 radio controlling. Oh, flipping hell! So we need 400. I've been making those by hand because they're a bit of a pain in the ass. Motors and okay, so fine. We'll set up a manufacturer. So it looks like I'm going to be doing that stuff. Now, what also unlocked the ability to make nitric acid? That will unlock the ability to make nitric acid. It's in packaged nitric acid. And then all the this is all the last items we will need in order to start working on. I'm sorry, I'm apologizing for now. It was tier 8. Tier 8 leading edge production. Tier 8. We've got one more tier milestone to do. And then it's all downhill from there, because that will get us all of the stuff to make the nuclear pasta. And whew, that's going to be a pain in the butt. A lot of things we're going to need to do. So everything we've been building up to is leading to this point. The nuclear power, I am definitely going to set up nuclear plants way far away, because I don't want to have to deal with the waste causing, or any of the production causing me radiation issues with my suit. I gotta go make the hazmat suit. Now, additionally to that is that we need to figure out we need to figure out what to do with the waste byproduct. And if you've started up update 8, you will see in the update 8 load screen, there's barrels of nuclear waste come flying at you on its conveyor belt. But we need to figure out what to do with them. We cannot sink them, and if you just store them, you just create a dead area that you can't go near. It's like Chernobyl. So we need to figure out a way to set up a factory setting that can produce nuclear power, as well as produce a safe byproduct from the nuclear waste to sink for some awesome points from the awesome shop. And that was going to require setting up a particle accelerator. So yeah, once we get that done, then we can go onto there. Once I get Tier 8 done, and once I get that all set up, we can start working on the nuclear pasta, because I have a feeling I'm going to... The reason I'm saying that is because what it's going to require me to make the 4 items for the Phase 4, I'm going to need more power. This one-off shit that I've been doing for setting up, building one component here with one machine, I gotta make standardized factories for that, and that's going to create a lot of drain on the power grid. So if I can get 15,000 megawatts added to the power grid, I can then start working on my overall goal, which was to say, get rid of the spaghetti, get it down to individual factories, and drone everything. But that's going to require me to build more of those battery factories, because I don't think I'm going to have enough battery factories to keep up with the demand for the drones. So that require you have more input than output, you're gonna be okay. And this point, if you have more output than input, you're going to be sitting there with dark factories doing absolutely nothing. And I've been hemming and hawing over the entire fact of this setting everything up and getting rid of the spaghetti mess that I've got going on, versus let's just get it done. But looking at Tier 8 and what it's going to require, the last item for Tier 8 and the space elevator Phase 4, this is not going to work. Because here's looky, wow! When you jetpack during a save, boy, oh shit! Ah, jeez, look it out of the way. That could have been bad. Actually, no, it wouldn't have done anything. Oh look, there's a little hole. And that hole goes over here, and that goes down over here. Oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, okay. So that's let's get working on Tier 8. I'll get everything set up. What do I need? So what do I need? I have the magnetic control rods. I think I have enough of those. I believe we've been making enough of that. We need 400. 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Get that done. And I love the fact you can put these in here and it removes them from your inventory and you don't have to worry about it. Cooling systems. Fused modular frames. Turbo motor. Yeah. Okay, because I can't stop making a mess up here. I've now got another manufacturer that's building the radio control units using oscillators from my oscillator factory, computers, and aluminum casings. And that is currently making those and pushing them into splitting between here and here and storage, which also connects to a manufacturer to make the turbo motors, which need motors, rubber, radio control units, and I believe these cooling systems, of which I still need to turn these in before I go putting them into the thing. I want to turn everything else in, because that just covers the last item, the turbo motor, but everything else I need 400 cooling systems and 200 fused modular frames. Now I just need the 100 turbo motors. So out of those 100, I need another 400 I need another 400 cooling systems to make 100 of the turbo motors, of which now I have 63. So I'm going to have to go back and grab them and throw them in, but I can do that when I get a moment. So let's throw ahead and throw these in here, and now we can... I should have just... Doing quicker to do it this way. Come on. So now it'll make those, and should stack about 100. I'm not going to connect the thing onto this yet until I get better setup on it. So we've got 100 of these to make, and then that'll complete off Tier 8 and the last tier we have. And then we can start working on nuclear. Alrighty, I think we got it now. Whew, okay, so... Oh, this is the wrong one. I set up I think we set this up here to tell you what we were doing. But we got this thing here making those turbo motors, which we got the radio control devices that I have being built over there, and we shove the motors and rubber from other places, and I grabbed the cooling systems down the hill, and now we've got 100 turbo motors in our position. We can go turn that in and get it done. Get it done, and that will, oh my gosh, I cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. Hello. There we go. Push the button. Wow. Way to edge me there. 20 minutes.
Reached.
Oh
the
boy.
particle accelerator enables previously impossible processes,
New parts,
such as
new
recycling
resources, new
nuclear
buildings.
waste and converting it into plutonium, as well as the generation of exotic matter. A new project part enables progress to the next phase.
And that covers tiers 0 through 8. That leaves us just complete phase 4, which we'll begin working on next time. Whew. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Wee. What a damn mess. I don't know what we're going to do with all this, but we're killing it. We're doing it. We're getting it done. Not very well, and not the way it was intended, but we are. So if you like what you see, please keep coming back, subscribe, like, drop me a comment, or if you really want to help me out, keep this content going, buy some merch in the description, or buy me a coffee. Links are down below, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.